What up, man? We're gonna keep this vlog streak going. I think I've done 6 vlogs in a row. It's been 6 vlogs in a row, 6 lives in a row. But y'all see the title of this video, so we're gonna get right to it. We ain't gotta waste no time. I was actually supposed to be streaming tonight. I was supposed to be playing some Warzone, but for some reason my frames kept dropping out the stream, so on and so forth. So I couldn't get the stream really going, which is what it is. It's not ideal. Don't like it, but it is what it is. So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and drop this vlog early. We're gonna try different times to see where, when's the best time slot for me to do this. Um, you know, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. What's up, Brandon? So we're gonna see. But the question is, what influences my writing? Right? Is that what that's what it should say? Um, what influences my writing? And that's a loaded question because there's so many things that influence it, right? There's not one, right? There's not a one size fits all. There's not a one equation. Like there's a lot of things that influence the way I write and create music and create anything that I write, right? So as I think about that question, let me make sure as I think about that question, the first thing that comes to mind is my environment. It's the first thing that comes to mind is what influences my writing. The first thing that comes to mind is my environment. It is the things I grew up around, the things I saw, the things that I saw that I couldn't articulate that I was seeing that was around me. That is probably the thing the most that has influenced my writing. Like if we had to specify and go as specific as possible, it was literally the simple fact that of the things that I saw, the things that I was around, the things that were happening. That is the most simplistic way I can say that is the thing that has influenced my writing slash music the most because I had to find a way to articulate what I was seeing. I had to find a way to uh, express what that seeing that did to me. I had to find a way to do that, which is why I was writing poetry early. That's how I started off writing poems early and making short stories early in my life and writing different stories and writing like short books and all of that. That's how it started because I needed to find a way to articulate my feelings, what I'm seeing, how I reacted to what I saw, what it meant to me, um, what I understood about it, what I didn't understand about it. So that is, if I had to generalize it, that is the thing, right? So, but if we want to go a little bit deeper than that, I'm very competitive, and since I was probably about 7 years old, I love rap music, and people in my neighborhood did it. Um, Bunch of people in my neighborhood did it. A bunch of people around me did it. And by the time I was 9 years old, I started making my own music, started writing my own songs. And the first CD, the first album I recall in the household was DMX, I believe Hell is Hot. I think that was the first one. And my dad would play that joint all the time. Played it so damn much. Whichever album had the song "What These Bitches Want." Whatever album that was the one my dad had from DMX. I don't know if that's the one I said. He had that one, and he had the one that had and this could be the same album, so please don't be an asshole about it. That one and the one that had Rough Riders Anthem. Okay, that is. Let me see. I'll go to the album. Okay, the name of the album is Dark. It's Dark and Hell is Hot. Get at Me, Dog. Is that the same one? So these are two different albums. Yep. Those are two different albums. Um, and so those were the two. Those were the two albums I heard the most very early on in my life. No ifs, ands, or buts, and I love them both. So DMX was the first. Like, do me a favor, y'all. When y'all pop in the chat. What up, Rich? Please hit that like button for me, y'all. Please. I have never met a redhead black dude in my life. Um, hey, okay, we're you know. So those were the first two albums, right? And if you are aware of DMX's style, if you're aware of DMX's sound, then you know for a fact DMX was a storyteller. He was a puncher. He was aggressive. He was loud. He was like y'all remember X in his prime, X that was taking over the world. Y'all remember that. So because of that, right? Because appreciate you, Rich. Thanks, bro. So because of that, right, I was influenced very early by that. Now, if you know my style, I'm not nearly as animated as X. I'm not nearly like not even it's not even close in that way. I'm much more monotone and uh much more straightforward. And I'll get to you how I'll explain to you how I got there. Um Now, the part of X that I did use is the storytelling. Like I definitely picked up on that, the storytelling, what I'm feeling, how like I picked up on that. Now the animation and all of that X brought with it, I didn't have that. But the storytelling, yeah, like that was something I definitely picked up from X very early on, without me even knowing I was, right? And so when you go beyond that, the next musical influences that were in the household very early, my dad had my dad had the Jay-Z Blueprint album. My dad had Country Grammar from Nellyville. Um, what other albums did he have in there? He had Ludacris, Chicken and Beer. Like these are the very early albums my dad had, and this is my early music influences. Those of you sure, you can ask a question. Right on, B. Right on, B. Those of you who know me, they know what my first album that I purchased was. That was T.I. Trap Music. It was a bootleg, right? I purchased that one, and that was the album that taught me this. That's probably the most important album of my life because I was around all these street dudes and all these hustlers and drug dealers, right? I'm around these guys my whole life, my whole upbringing. I'm around them. But I didn't know the context. I didn't know the detail. I didn't know nuances to it. I just knew they was doing some shit and get them locked up. So when I heard T.I. Trap Music, I had a story that I could connect to those people, right? Now I kind of understood that all these dudes out here ain't selling drugs, ain't just hardened criminals. Some of them legitimately had a tough deal at life, tough hand that they were dealt, and they're finding a way to make some currency. Now, it might not be the best way to do it, but if you're 19, 20 years old, you might not know any other way, right? You might not understand any other way, right? Like sometime when you're 19, 17, 16, like, some guys started trapping when they was 12, 13 years old in my neighborhood. So it gave me an understanding and a way to connect and understand those people. Miles Garrett, we look alike. We look alike. And so I was able to start understanding them. But what I also was able to understand was that at that time that I heard T.I. Trap Music, 50 Cent existed, right? Like these heavy New York dudes existed. And 50 Cent was a monster. We know how 50, when he came out, we know what that was. But T.I. didn't look like the other rappers, right? He didn't look like the East Coast rappers I was seeing. And it showed me that, one, your story is valid, whatever your story is. Just say it with some confidence and believe in it and mean it. But number two, right? Number two, that means my story is valid, right? Because T.I. may fall in the lane of gangster rapper and storytelling and all of that, but he does it differently. He does it the way he does it. 50 does it how he does it. All these rappers that I listened to early, it was 50, T.I., right? They all did similar things, but they had their own way of doing it. It's almost like watching 5 of the greatest three-point shooters of all time. All of their forms are different, right? All their forms are different. Make sure you have that like button for me. Appreciate it. What's wrong with today's black people? I don't even know what you mean by that question. You gotta get more specific, brother. So all their forms are different. So watching T.I., watching how he navigated, watching him be confident, because T.I. wasn't also like, he didn't appear to be physically imposing. T.I. wasn't he wasn't 50 Cent. 50 Cent is the moniker, right? 50 Cent is a very physically imposing dude, right? 50 is a very physically imposing dude. DMX was very physical. Like these guys had like certain things about him. T.I. didn't look like that. Somewhat imposing physically, but not the way 50 was, so to speak. Hearing T.I. showed me some versatility and how there's a spot in this thing of ours called hip hop that we all fit in, and we can maximize our talent and abilities and monetize it and so on and so forth. Let's not generalize entire groups of people. Absolutely. I just wasn't sure what he meant by that comment. Like I wasn't sure. I'm not sure where he's going with that. And then following that, the next album I bought, it was Lloyd Banks' Hunger for More. Great album, by the way. And then my first official, now that was a bootleg too. My first official album that I ever bought was T.I. Urban Legend. And these are the guys who influenced me very early from a musical perspective. Eminem, the Eminem Show is probably my favorite Eminem album. And again, these are the guys who influenced me very early musically, like very early. And the fact that you develop your skill through your influences shows you are beyond your years and having listened to your music. I see that evolution. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And so for me, seeing those things very early and hearing those stories, Kanye West, College Dropout, um, Kanye West College Dropout. That's another one that was big for me too early. The state property movement. Like I remember these early movements that help influence and shape what I do, which is again why I pride myself on lyricism and storytelling. Right, like those are things that are very important to me. Can I can I can I connect this to something? Right, and if I just want to rap good, I can just rap good. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's a thing too. Another thing that influenced me, right? Because I talked about that. Another thing that influenced me early on, I always read a lot, always read a lot of books, right? My favorite, no, I'm not gonna say my favorite, but my childhood favorite, I'll say, were the Beverly Cleary books. I know y'all gonna laugh. Beverly Cleary, or Cleary. I think it's Beverly Cleary or Clearly. I'm not sure if I said it right, but it's one of those two last names. I hope I said it right. And I remember reading the Runaway Ralph series, and then we had the books. We had the Buford series books growing up too. Like these are books that I like. When I read these books, I wasn't just reading the books. I was studying. I was studying the format in which they wrote the books. I was studying the way in which they built the story up. I was studying and how they set things up and how they put maybe an innuendo here and then reconnect. Like I was studying those things. I was enjoying the book, but I also studied those parts of it. And I remember reading those books as a kid. And me and my boy, I think my boy Josh. Josh was another heavy reader when we were young. Um, we would talk about these things with each other. And so my friend called me gay because I like to read books. Being called gay for reading this. Yeah, that might be the craziest shit I ever heard. Like that's just like that's just odd, right? So, but I would also look at authors as well and read their stuff, right? And I studied them as well. Like anywhere where I could find great writing, I'm going to study it and try to figure out what I can learn from it. Like it's very rare that I can cut my mind off to just embrace this great writing unless I've seen the product before. Um, so that was major for me, right? Because I always read. I was when I was in the not even a flex, just being honest. When I was in the sixth grade, we had this test called I think it was the PSSAs, or I think it was called Terra Novas. I think it might have been the PSSAs or something like that. Based on my test score in the sixth grade, I had in the sixth grade I tested at a 12th grade reading level. Right, so in the sixth grade, I was testing at the reading level of 12th graders. Right, I was testing on the level of a 12th grader, and at the time, I didn't know what that meant. At the time, I didn't understand that. At the time, it wasn't really a flex to me. It just I like to fucking read. Like that was really like when you grow up in North Philly and you grow up around the shit I grew up around. My dad getting drunk and shit. When you see certain shit, reading becomes your escape. Video games become your escape. You know what I'm saying? Reading, video games, these things become your escape. And you know what's great about all of that? They all include writing. So my whole life was me just looking at things that worked out great and then looking at what I can take from them and then add to my game, right? I'm huge on that. Like I respect anybody and everybody's hustle. I respect what they're doing. I respect how they move. I respect all of that. Even if I don't like the work, there might be something I can obtain from that. So when I watch the movies, like one of my favorite 90s movies, I wasn't even born when this came out. It was Terminator 2. Obviously, I saw the shit much later. Jack Poetry. Is that what it says? Jock Poetry? Okay. I used to wake up early before school to read. It was like a magical new world. Yeah, it is. It is. And it means you have incredible comprehension skills, which has helped strengthen your skills. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know what's interesting about that is when I would make sure you hit that like button, y'all. I'm seeing new people in the chat. Hit that like button for me. It's free. What's interesting about that is this, and I learned this, which is kind of crazy. what's interesting about that is I always struggled at math, but you know when I actually did good at math? I did good at math when it was in a word, when it was written in word format. When they wrote it out in like a story format, I actually did good at math. When they give me just raw numbers, I couldn't do good at math. That shows you how heavily I relied on my ability to comprehend and understand writing. I heard you 6'7". Everyone's saying you 6'7". He's is a 6'7". Yeah, I don't know what that is, bro. Whatever that is, I don't know what that is. So, you know, it's all good. But my whole point is like everything kind of influenced my writing in a very simplistic way. Everything kind of influenced my writing. Like there's not one thing that influenced my writing more than another. It's like a bunch of things influenced my writing, and I put them in one pot and made a giant pot of gumbo writing, and just pull from it. And Rich, can you if you there, Rich, can you block him? But it's just like a giant gumbo pot of writing. Even when I looked at video games, I look at the structure of the writing of the game. And so when I look at that, like it's just so much that I learned. And so it's like I could talk about this for forever, but pretty much like everything influences my writing. Interactions, right? Interactions influence my writing. Like today, I saw my mom do something today, and it was the funniest shit in the world. And it was like, there's no reason to do that, but it is a reason to do that. Shout out to my brother Rich. My mom got a bag of Dum Dums, the little small lollipops, and I look over to my left. My mom has two Dum Dums open, and she's licking both Dum Dums. One Dum Dum, another Dum Dum. So she licks one Dum Dum and licks another Dum Dum. And I'm like, what are you doing? She said, this flavor combination is great. And I'm looking like, I said, yo, this is my mom. Like, this is my mom. Like, and I say that because I do shit like that. I do shit like that all the time. Right? Eat one fucking, open one now later, open another one, and open a green one and a red one, eat them both at the same time just to get the flavor. But I'm like, this is my mom though. Right? And it's just crazy how some of my natural things about me are very natural things about her. And we never, like, I didn't mimic her on purpose. But speaking of my mom, right? My mom is a literary nerd too. She's a literary nerd too. When I was a little boy, my mom had journals scattered around the house. Scattered all over the house. And when I would come visit, you could find a journal. You could find a journal just sitting there. You could find a journal somewhere. You could find a journal. You will find a bunch of Stephen King books. Bunch of thick. And y'all know Stephen King books was these books. Like a Stephen King book is like this thick. I've never seen a skinny Stephen King book in my life. If y'all have, let me know. I'll buy it. I'll buy a skinny Stephen King book because I don't think they exist. My mom had these Stephen King books. They was like this thick. And I remember looking like, damn, Ma, you got these Stephen King books. And I was a little boy. I'm a little boy. And I would just like pick it up and then browse through it. I wasn't able to read it. I didn't want to read no Stephen King book back then. But again, going back to the fact that my mother was an avid reader, avid writer, it almost feels like the gene of reading, the gene of writing was passed down directly from her. And then I took advantage of the opportunity to utilize it as an artist and within an art form. So shout out to my mother for that, because I'm grateful that I can do that. I'm grateful that at some point in my life, the fact that I can write and make music, right, will help pay my bills. That makes me feel good. The fact, you know what, let's talk about a plus, right? The fact that I was able to buy cat food, with music money, that was one of the best days ever, right? And the fact that I'm taking a skill that I've honed and developed since I was a little kid, and I'm able to do that, bro, that shit feels great. It feels great. And I'm still in the very early phases in terms of building a brand. But I've been an artist for a very long time, right? Obtaining some notoriety and making money, I'm in the very beginning of that. But, I'm on my way. Cycle of the Werewolf is one of the shortest books he He's one of my favorite authors. How many pages is that book? Because every book I've seen him be like 350, 400 pages. My mom read one of his books in a day. That's why I know she's a unique species of person. My mom read a Stephen King book in a day. That's when you know, like, you want some other shit. You can read a Stephen King book in a day, you are a special kind of person. Let me see something. I'm not gonna lie. My mom got me this thermal. It's a medium. It's fitted though. It's a fitted thermal. I kind of like it. I don't know how y'all feel, but I kind of like this joint. I ain't gonna lie to you. I kind of like it a little bit. But anyway, so again, going back to all of the things around me that have allowed me to just find ways to share this art of mine, this thing of mine that I truly love, and to be able to talk about, when I wrote the song about my brother Kyle when he was murdered, when my boy, my other brother, my brother Trey was like, yo, I couldn't have did that, yo. I don't know how you did that. And for me, hearing that from him, one, it means a lot. It means a whole lot. 126 pages? Wow. That's dope. Shout out to Stephen King, man. One of the best ever. But when Trey said that to me, it did something, because we have this weird thing about us. And Rich, I'm putting you on the spot because you in the chat. B, I haven't met you in person, but I'm pretty sure you've done it too. Most people have done this. There's things that we do that we're really good at, we're really skilled at, that we're so good, we're so skilled that we take for granted. We all do it. Nobody's exempt. Every single one of us at one point in our life have been so good at something, so skilled at something, that we took it for granted when other people are like, damn, I wish I could do that. And when he said that to me, what it said, because Trey lost his older brother. His older brother died in a car crash. Him and the older brother was like, rest in peace to Julian. They were like tight. Like they were like tight. And when he told me, man, I couldn't have did that, bro. I couldn't have did that. For me, it's like second nature. There's nothing I can't write about. I don't believe that. There's not a song. Anything that I want to write about, I can write about. Anything I feel in my heart, I will find a way to communicate that with the world. And when Trey said that to me, at first I'm like, huh? But then when I thought about it, it's like, well, bro, this is your thing. This is what you do. So you have the ability to articulate that. Number one, writing about a sibling, right? Now, just for clarification for y'all, because some of y'all, Kyle's not my biological brother. Me and Kyle met when I was about 7 years old. I met Trey when I was about 7 years old. I met Trey in I feel like I was 7. I might have been 9. I met Trey like 7 years old. I forgot. 7 whenever I met him, right? I knew these guys for so long, right? I met Kyle when I was 7, 8 years old. We've been best friends ever since. I love him to death, I love him so much, I'd have took the bullet for him. Like, if I was there, I don't see him getting shot. If anybody gets shot, it would be me. I'm not letting him go like that, right? So for me to be able to write that song, when I'm talking about him and I'm talking about our relationship, and I'm talking about how I idolized him, and we are peers. And when my boy Trey said, bro, I couldn't have did that, I'm like, damn, I might actually be fucking good at this. And I have these moments where I'm like, damn, I might be good at this. I have these moments all the time, not because I don't think I'm good at it, but it's so easy in the spot that I'm in to overlook your ability because you're not getting the big paychecks for it. It's very easy for me to think that I'm not what I am because I'm not getting big checks for it yet. Right? I haven't gotten a $50,000 check for music. I haven't gotten a $1,000 check for music. So it's very easy for me to think, I'm not that yet. Right? But sometimes along our journeys of greatness, whatever we're pursuing, we may obtain the skill before we obtain the notoriety. We're in that era today where a lot of us obtain the skill, the ability, and the ability to execute the skill before we get the check. The check is normally the last thing. You know what? The best way to think about a dream or a passion is think about your job. Think about the 9 to 5, Monday through Friday job that you have, or the jobs you did have. Most of us don't get paid every day. We do a job on Monday, we do a job on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, and then Thursday, and then Friday. Some of us gonna work on the weekends, some of us don't. Then we do that same job again, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And that Friday we get our paycheck. When you take that logic and apply it to the dream and to the hustle and whatever you're doing, whether you're streaming, making music, merch, opening a business, whatever you're doing, right? But it don't matter what you're doing, it's the same process, it's just probably longer. So in the work week, 9 to 5 jobs is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, correct? But in your dream and your hustle, it's probably year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, big check. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing, right? We just want a quicker payout, and I get it. I get it, man. Look, I got my first half decent paycheck for music, bro. It was $135. Right? But I had owed my bank some money. So guess what happened? That check went to my bank, and my bank took the whole check. I never saw the check. I just got the notification that the check came through. It was frustrating because I needed that money. Like, and there's only 135, but I needed that. I earned that. I made them songs. I wrote them motherfucking songs, bro. I spent $1,000 in the studio. I needed my money. I was owed that. That was mine. I earned it. But it showed me that I can generate that money. And once you see that you can generate it, it's hard to unsee that you can generate that money. It's very hard to unsee that. Once you see it, all you gotta do is see it once. All I had to do was see it one time to know, oh shit, I'm on to something. I'm on my way. That's all I had to see. Today, I was when I went for those job interviews. I had a job interview today. Something clicked. And what clicked was, when I was in the interview, the lady asked me a very important question. She said, well, if you work here, you'll have a caseload of upward of 40 to 50 people. You got to keep up with the paperwork. Can you do it? And I said, yes, I can. All I got to have is the system in place. And I said, Eureka. There's my answer. There's my answer. And what I mean by that is, for me at this point, with all the content that's on the internet of me, all the short form videos, all the freestyles, all of them videos, they're there, right? They're out there. All the music I got out, it's all out there, right? I have to perfect the system that puts it out there, that releases it structurally, and gets my name and everything out there. And it dawned on me today in the interview. It dawned on me. Granted, the interview went to shit because my phone died. It was Teams. It was a team interview. It was on Teams. The phone died. Phone went to shit. Doubt I get that job, and I don't want the job. I just don't. I just don't. But it was just crazy seeing that, man. So I know I went a bit of a tangent, so I apologize. But in short, if somebody asks me what influences my writing, the answer is everything influences my writing. Everything around me, everybody around me influences my writing. Appreciate y'all.